Namaskar. I'll feel very glad to welcome you all in our webinar. And today's topic will cover and explore the opportunities to make you able for the corporate world and for the job compatibility. My dear friends, last few days we have tried and we have made our efforts to make this program more successful, particularly in its design. And I welcome PRITAM BANERJEE in this program. Please, PRITAM BANERJEE,
Hello.
please on your camera so that people can see you.
Yeah, 1 second. I'm just trying. I cannot start your video. Disabled by the host. Okay, I think you need to probably allow the video sharing for me.
1 minute. Yes, it is possible now, as I feel.
Yes, it is. Hello.
So we are introducing PRITAM BANERJEE, ex-Mercedes-Benz management. Here he will teach you and explore opportunities for you to understand the corporate world, particularly the politics in the workstations and the workplace. How to cope with this. And without creating so much discussions and interactions, first, I want to directly join the program with my presentation. I would like to introduce what is soft skill in front of you. And this program is observed by through Pan India. And so naturally the language will be English. And I request you, please, my dear friends, join it and enjoy and learn the corporate ethics, practices, and prepare yourself. Let me share my PowerPoint. Before presenting my presentation, I would like to show you a short film, a small video, and it will bring you into the theme of our discussion, how a team works, at the time of decision making, how we integrate every mind and do our mind mastery. So let's see the film.
अभी जरा ध्यान से सुनना, आज तुम लोग को अपना हॉकी स्टिक नहीं चाहिए।
नो स्टिक्स?
नहीं, आज नहीं। आज बस एक ही काम करना है, ये ईंटें जो है ना, वहाँ से उठाकर यहाँ रखनी है बस, ठीक है? लेकिन ठेले से लेके नहीं आने का है, अपना हाथ का इस्तेमाल करने का है, समझे? चलो, क्विक क्विक, चलो। चलो जल्दी। वेरी गुड वेरी गुड, बहुत अच्छे। अब एक काम करो, ये ईंटें उठाकर वापस वहीं रख दो। आप जी
कैसा मजाक है, हम यहाँ हॉकी खेलने आए, ईटा धोने आए।
हम दादा इन लोग ऐसे ही भागम भाग करेगा या कुछ समझेगा?
कब नहीं समझेगा करता है।
वापस वापस लेके जाओ नहीं सर सर नहीं कोई सवाल
करते हैं Come on, boys! Come on! Watch out! एक मिनट हम लोग कुछ तो गलत कर रहे हैं ऐसा करो यहाँ से लेके वहां तक एक लाइन में खड़े हो जाओ समझ गए लाइन फॉर्मेशन जल्दी
समझे तुम लोग सिर्फ ये मेहनत और कोशिश और टैलेंट से कुछ नहीं होता काम आसान होता है टीम वर्क से मैं तुम्हें जितनी भी ट्रेनिंग दे दूं लेकिन जब तक तुम में एकता नहीं होगी एक दूसरे को सपोर्ट नहीं करोगे जीत नहीं पाओगे जीत के लिए
থেকে শেখা শুধুমাত্র মুখস্থ করে বিদ্যা অর্জন করলে গত বছরে অমুকটা এসেছিল এই বছরে আর এইটা আসবে না এইভাবে টিউটরদের প্ররোচনায় ফুল পদ্ধতিতে পড়াশোনা করে 80% 90% পাওয়া যায় কিন্তু কিন্তু আলটিমেটলি জীবনের খাতায় হারার শূন্যতা So this is the simple introduction. I hope it is clear to you that teamwork is so important. And let me describe what is soft skill and how it is important. Pritam Banerjee sir, I am entering into my discussion and I hope you are enjoying it. And on time, the stage will welcome you to present your presentation and the audience is waiting as you are speaking directly from London. So naturally, you will share all of your corporate experience throughout your life. So let me introduce my presentation. So the skin is clear and I'm going to the full screen mode. Yes, soft skill. Unlock your potential. It is the introductory session on soft skill training. And myself, Ashish Kumar Das, and my friend, Pritam Banerjee, will deliver the important information to you to make you able to understand what is soft skill and how to apply it in our life, particularly in the corporate world. I am welcoming you and presenting you a well outcome too. The outcome is very much clear. The picture shows the outcome. Your confident move after the soft skill session in your corporate world, in your job sector, in your college, in your teacher's room, in your classroom, in front of your students and the students at the ground when they are facing the audience, and also the dressing room when they are preparing with their teammates. Everywhere, soft skill is important, even when you are traveling to a public bus. So outcome is very much clear. The confident you is the outcome. Myself, Ashish Kumar Das, Formerly, I was in Apple Hospital's Educational Research Foundation, Hyderabad, working as a mind mentor, life coach, and growth catalyst. Possesses masters in psychology, NLP master trainer, and a certified career management professional by the government of India, counseling psychologist, presently instructing 3 courses at a Ramakrishna Mission Vidya Mandira, Bose House campus. I feel great to face you here in this occasion. There is a 3 picture, his center and both the other pictures in my journey. So always feel happy because happiness is the habit. And unhappiness, feeling unhappiness is bad habit. So I hope today a happy mode will be on, your happy mode will be on, and you are coachable. Are you coachable? Are you coachable, my dear friends? If you are coachable, just write yes.
Coachable.
If you are not coachable, so it will be very much difficult to to discuss this session in front of you. Because if you think that I know everything, so there is no need to join here and put your time. Please think that you are coachable. I am 60. I am coachable. Are you, sir? Are you, madam? Always think I am coachable. So I would like to ask, are you coachable? If yes, just write why. Just write why. It will motivate you. So, my dear friends, soft skill. Please mute yourself. Please mute yourself. Why soft skills matter more than ever? Statistics, 85% of job success comes from soft skill. Carnegie Institute. NEP 2020, New Education Policy 2020, highlights soft skill for holistic education. Students in various professional roles. Students in various professional roles is the motto of new education policy adopted by government of India in the year 2020, and all the boards, particularly the central boards, are actively working to establish and to adopt this training sessions, this program in the school curriculum and study. I would like to convey in this regard myself is a trained candidate from the UNESCO in SEL, social and emotional learning. I am a coach certified by the UNESCO. So it is an opportunity to me to meet you, my young friends. You are here to hear us, and definitely it is motivating us, and the outcome will be positive. In today's rapidly evolving AI-driven world, technical knowledge along is not enough. Machines can process data, automate tasks, and prioritize production, but they cannot replace human understanding, empathy, judgment, and meaningful relationships. This is where soft skills become essential. Soft skills refer to the personal qualities and interpersonal abilities, as you see in the video, that enable individuals to interact effectively, respectfully, and productively with others. These skills shape how we communicate, collaborate, manage emotions. Particularly, many times you will hear the sound, you will listen to the sound, manage emotions, manage emotions, manage emotions, and respond to challenges in professional and personal environments. Unlike technical or hard skills, which involve specific knowledge or tools. Soft skills relate to how we work with people. That is full skill. They help individuals build trust, maintain healthy professional relationships, and navigate complex human situations such as negotiations, teamwork, leadership, and conflict resolution. In this graphics, you can see the hard skill only 39% and soft skill 61% in our job sector. So your hard skill and soft skill, how to differentiate it? In the modern age, the business management, entrepreneurship, and leadership roles, success depends not only on intelligence or expertise, but also on emotional balance, clarity in communication, and ability to work harmoniously with others. Examples of soft skills: communication, adaptability, critical thinking, teamwork, emotional intelligence, and leadership and responsibility. These abilities enable individuals to transform knowledge into meaningful action and productive collaboration. You got knowledge through your studies in colleges and schools, but you cannot integrate them in the workplace if you don't have the soft skilling abilities. A simple truth for the AI era: technology may accelerate progress, but human character determines direction. Hard skills may get you the job, soft skills help you build the future. So, here we will show you a tally: hard skills, learnable and presentable skills, knowledge and qualities; soft skills, character traits, personal and interpersonal skills; hard skill, language, knowledge, degrees, apprenticeship, certificates, accounting, typing techniques, machine operation, programming languages, software knowledge; and soft skill, communication skill, flexibility, self-discipline, self-reflection, teamwork, time management, empathy, ability to take criticism, ability to take criticism, ability to take criticism softly, softly. What are the challenges? What are the challenges? What are the challenges we are facing, particularly the Indian youth? Confusion, lost and uncertain. We feel lost and uncertain. Clarity and clarity. Our clarity can make or make us able to focus and empowered. Adaptability for Indian youth, common issues: struggling for interviews despite technical knowledge, struggling for interviews despite technical knowledge, common gaps in teams, common gaps in teams, lack of confidence in presentation, lack of confidence in presentation, difficulty handling workplace pressure or feedback. We forget to take feedback. We think it is failure. So we carry the failure sense in our subconscious mind and we bring failure, failure, and failure. We don't think it is the feedback. When I get feedback, I ask my coach, sir, can you tell me what are my mistakes? The coach rectify my actions. And through my rectified actions, I gain clarity and I get success, desired results. So when the failure became your subconscious component, then conscious mind cannot help you. So you have to bring it in the conscious mind and rectify it, and that failure will be your feedback, and through the modification of your feedback through your coaches, not like football coaches, not like cricket coaches, all coaches having their basic qualities. We are also the coaches, the corporate coaches, the mind mentors, and you have to take guidance from that coaches so you can make your feedback into your turning point of life and change the entire scenario from lost and uncertain to the focused and empowered. So let's move to the another slide. Here, I would like to share various important quotations. Shatta Nadella, you know the man. Empathy makes you a better motivator. Sorry, better innovator. Empathy. Empathy makes you a better innovator. If you understand people's unmet needs, you can design solutions that truly matter. So, to be a scientist, first be empathetic. Jack Ma. In the future, machines will be smarter, but human must be wiser. That machines cannot replace is the human heart. Your heart, your empathetic heart, will lead you to the top success of your life, and the industry will rise. The human race will survive with great pride and dignity. And you are the agent of this. Your empathetic heart is so important. Bill Gates, success today is not only about intelligence, it is about how well you learn, adapt, and work with people. You got degrees. You cannot adapt to the people at your workplace. Every day, pan India, I get lot of counseling personalities. They are professors, research analysts, educators, doctors, and many from the every aspect of the society, every corner of the society, every profession of the society. What is the problem? The problem is adaptability and work with the people. Indra Nui. Leadership is not just about strategy and numbers. It is about understanding people, inspiring them, and bringing out their best. So, people skill. And finally, I would like to utter the name of this great person, Alan Marx. Great companies are built by great teams. When people communicate well and trust each other, innovation becomes possible. So, communication, compassion, trust within the team members are the driving force of innovation. This is not enough. More we would like to hear from our expert directly from London, PRITAM BANERJEE. Let us listen from him what he says. I request everybody to welcome to PRITAM BANERJEE. Welcome
Hello.
to PRITAM BANERJEE. I would like to request everybody to write in the chat box welcome Pritam Banerjee.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, Ashish sir.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you very much
Always
for the
welcome.
introduction. And so first of all, I would like to say good evening to
One minute,
all the
one minute,
people.
1 minute. Pritam sir, but
Yeah.
little bit. NAP 2020 and life skill integration. NAP calls for vocational education, critical thinking, social emotional learning. These three things are integrated in the new education policy. And our role, what is our role? Me and Pritam Banerjee sir, what is our role? What are our roles? Bridging education. There are a lot of professors in this group. They are joining today. They joined today to enjoy our program, to learn from us. But I'm sorry to say, we are not teaching anybody. We are coaching. We are coaching. And they have done wonderful for the boys and girls in the schools and colleges. They have done wonderful. I would like to convey thanks to Abhijit Thandar, Professor Abhijit Thandar, Vishwabharati University, Department of Physical Education. I just conveyed him that we are going to organize these kinds of events, and he shared it in the group. And a lot of students join here via that link, that group. And I feel great to convey my gratitude to Abhijit Thandar sir. Actually, what Abhijit Thandar and so many professors and teachers have done, probably from Uttarakhand, Chamoli village, some candidate is here. From Noida, some research analyst are here, is here, and many people from different corners of the country joined our session today. And I request you, we are just bridging education and real world adaptability. Education and degrees are not enough. And NEP 2020 gives importance on this aspect especially. And I would like to say something about our future endeavors. Overview of full training program. We have designed 17 modules like communication, goal setting, emotional intelligence, mind mastery, etc. Format 30 hours. TBT oriented program will be there, TBT based, and there will be certificates too, online and offline, practical worksheets and feedback methodology. Here is the certificate for you. After the completion of the 3 months program, this certificate will be awarded to the candidates. And I hope these kinds of certificates will help you to get a job in the corporate world. It will prove your efficacy, and you have joined the sessions of the experts like Pritam Banerjee. And I am his follower, simply follower. So this is the thing. Participants will master workplace communication and teamwork, learn presentation and interview skills, cultivate leadership and problem solving, build emotional resilience and time management, get prepared for internship, placements, and life success. Learning outcomes is equal to career boost. So, I am on the last stage of my session, final thought and call to action program. Are you ready to grow faster, strong, and sharper? Are you ready? Are you coachable? In a world of degrees, your mindset makes the lifeline. So, irrespective of your nice, lubricated, decorated mark sheet, are you coachable? Are you coachable? Join us. Date time of full training session every Saturday, 8 to 9:30 p.m. And some of the candidates here today, they have already get admitted. No need to introduce them in front of you. So it is their first session, and in this pre-first session, I welcome you again to hear our respected guests and join us for career counseling. Ask for the free roadmap. After this session, I will share a free gift to you in the group. If you are not in the group, you may not get, because personally it is not possible to send me. As a career management professional, I will share a roadmap in the AI age. What are the subjects we can go through? So this is the end of my session. I would like to welcome our guest. He is waiting for us to share his presentation. Pritam sir, please start your session. I welcome you with my open heart and mind, and our boys and girls and the senior professors and doctors and educators are waiting and watching you. Please join. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Ashish sir. Once again, thank you for the warm welcome. And I would like to say good evening to all the people who have joined the session today from India. So first of all, I mean, I would like to just extend my honor that so it's my great honor to be here in this session and to speak in front of you. So yeah, surely. So we have got a diverse audience here with multiple professional background. So I will try to share a few things which I think so that will be really helpful to you in your career navigating Oh, was I on mute?
No problem, no problem. Carry on, carry on. Some disturbance was there, so I tried to mute, but everybody muted. No problem. Carry on. Now you can. Okay.
Okay, so I'm not
Please.
sure how much you guys heard me. So was I audible earlier?
Sorry, sorry.
Okay.
I request everybody on behalf of our guest speaker, it is the honor to him that nobody should create noise. And I request everybody to request your family man or the family person to go outside and to take some other room. And you please sit in a silent room so that you can hear it properly. And it is very important to go through the sessions properly. So thank you.
Okay, all right. So I'm gonna start, with my presentation. So whatever I have to share for you guys. First of all, I'm very happy to see, like all of you here. I mean, like it's a Sunday evening. I know, that you have prioritized this topic. You surely have like other work, so at your home, your personal, like commitment, but you still have decided to come here. And so that basically shows like how committed you are. So, I mean, I would like to say thank you to all of you who are here. So I'm gonna share my screen. I would need a little bit of confirmation from any one of you, like if you can see my screen.
Already I made you. Yes, yes, it is visible now. Yes, yes. Okay.
Wait 1 second.
It is visible.
Okay. All right. All right. So, that what I would do is I'm gonna continue the conversation what Aziz sir already started, right? Like on the soft skills, right? Like how soft skills are even important right now, okay? And how eventually we can master the soft skills, and not just about the soft skills, it is also about the rapport and the resilience, right? that only soft skills so will not be helping, that we also have to like think about how do we actually add the rapport factor to it, and how we can also be resilient, right? And especially how these skills are going to be very important in the current age, right? Like as you all know, I think so this is something that we are all aware of it, and we cannot deny the fact that this is actually an AI era, right? That we are actually now into a new era after the computer age, right? That like many of you might be a Gen Z, that that you are starting with the computers, but many of us actually have seen a computer age, right? So that was a computer era, and now this is an AI era, right? That we have to see, like so we have to learn the new way of navigating in this era, and the new techniques what we need to follow to improve our soft skills and eventually our rapport and to be resilient. So that's going to be my objective here. So before I start, a little bit about me, that who I am. So I'm currently working as a director in a US healthcare MNC. I basically lead the AI strategy and digital transformation for the organization. So I have got overall 17 plus years of experience. I mean, like, yeah, this is really a pretty big experience, I would say, almost near to like say 2 decade. And I have really led multiple roles. So like I have achieved multiple targets. I have driven multiple AI transformations, and I have driven engineering teams, right? So I mean, I have done this work in my current organization, also in my previous organization. So in my previous organization also, I mean, I have actually worked as an engineering leader, like a senior engineering leader, like where I was fortunate enough to work directly with the CTO and with the CIO. So that gave me a pretty good idea about, like how exactly the management level work, the senior management level work, right? And what are the expectations of the management from the new employee age, right? Or rather, I would say like from the new labors. So with this, I would like to start that. So first thing that we have to understand, that what changed right now, like how the expectations, like so how the landscape exactly changed, right? Or rather, I would say like so what exactly the expectation, right? So I mean, like in the earlier days, right? Like probably if you just think about it, like say 10 years down the line, or even 15 years down the line, right? We were only focusing more into the technical skills, right? That we were just like thinking about let's do engineering to get the degree, and then on top of that we have to learn skills, right? The skills which are required in the industry, right? The hard skills, isn't it? I mean, the hard skills means like say learning programming, learning probably like like some tools, right? So by which you can actually do your job in the company, right? So right now that has changed, right? So only technical expertise alone will not going to be creating you a safety net, right? That like if you think that yeah, I have the technical skills, I'm absolutely safe. That's not the thing, right? And usually right now what we are seeing, like these technical skills are something which is sort of half lived, right? So what exactly is this half lived? It means that you are spending almost a year or two to learn one skill or to create a mastery on the skill, and the skill itself is getting obsolete in another 3 years. So think about it, right? That you're spending this much amount of time for 3 years. So this technical skills, right? So altogether, I'm not just talking about from a like a IT or a software say point of view, but like overall the tech skills what we have, right? So think about like across the industries, right? That so you're into aerospace, you're into healthcare tech, you're maybe into biotechnologies, right? But the technologies are rapidly evolving, right? Especially with this AI era, it's even evolving faster. Okay. So that's why it's very important, So nowadays, I think what the expectation is, like it is not just about technical skills, but someone who is ready to learn and to adapt, right? The learning and the adoption is very important right now. So that's exactly like the way how the expectations are being changing across various say industries, right? Like your tech industries, finance industry, service sectors, right? So it's really important that the people who are working, right, they should now think about like how exactly I can learn technology and how I can connect that to the business value, right? More on the impact side. Okay. So earlier, like say building a number, sharing a number would have been enough, but right now only the numbers would not be sufficient. So you have to think about like how the strategies are working, right? That we have to think about like how my work is connected to the business. So that is the change what is happening, right? And that is a reason. So right now, right? So there is a lot of like say doubt or like say ambiguity that is there in the market, market that AI is killing our job, right? And the job across industries, right? And it is happening. Okay. So, I mean, I would not deny this fact that it is not happening, right? But yes, it is happening. It is also bringing new jobs for us or new roles for us, right? We have to make sure that how fast we can adapt, right? So if we are not adapting, we are going to be replaced. So there is a great saying, guys, like, so what I've heard a long time back, that AI will never replace us, but a guy using AI will replace us. That's a golden line. And that's something what we really have to embed into our head, that yes, this is the way how things are happening right now. Okay. But just think about it, like, still, why do we like, so what's the actual requirement of the human right now? So if AI can do everything else, right? So what's the requirement of the human, right? It is exactly the soft skills. AI cannot really create connections with people, right? And that's exactly what I call as the human dividend, right? Or so what is the AI blind spot? What AI cannot do right now? AI can definitely write code for you. AI can definitely write mails for you. AI can definitely do research for you, right? It can do a lot of stuff for you, but it cannot really show you the empathy or the connections, the human to human bond. That's something which is still not possible, right? So that's why there are few things, that we really have to build within ourselves. And this is all somehow being linked to the soft skills, right? The first thing is going to be the empathy, right? So it says that understanding the unspoken concerns, reading between the lines, and responding to emotional context. These are something what AI cannot replace right now. At least in the current day, it is not really possible, right? We are still looking at, like, say, humanoids and all, but still they do not have that affections, right? So empathy is something what we really have to build. Okay. And so empathy is more about, like, understanding the unspoken concerns. Next is your strategic thinking, right? So this is actually a very important thing. So it talks about that connecting the disparate information, right? So it means that the information which are not really readily available in front of you, but you are basically creating a connection in between both the information, right? And that eventually will help us to take judgments. Think about it, that AI usually work on patterns, right? If the patterns are not established, it cannot really take any decisions or any judgments, right? And that is where the strategic thinking comes in play. And that's exactly like, where we have to develop our strategic thinking, so capabilities. And the other one, and the very important one, is the contextual navigation, right? It is you're reading the organization's culture, right? So cultural behaviors is something what so your AI will not be able to understand, right? So the AI will not be understanding that, like, how exactly the bosses really work, right? How exactly my, like, CEO is really work, how exactly his expectations work, right? That is where we would need our human intelligence, right? Our like ability to connect dots, to understand that, so this is the way how the org behaves, so this might be his expectation, and this is the way how I should, like, like, create the job. So this is like exactly so what we have to build right now in this era, and this is something like, so what I call as a human dividend. Okay. So I'm gonna show you, like, some case studies, so which will help you understand, like, how exactly so these skills are actually helping us to make sure that we are still relevant, right? And it is also helping us to stay quite relevant, and be successful in a career. So let's take this example. Okay, so this is a very simple case study, right? So I call this case study as a technical genius who couldn't explain why, right? I just talked this, that only technical expertise would not be very helpful, right? So that's exactly so what we're gonna see right now. So let's take the example that a company had to choose between two candidates for a lead engineer role. Okay, so let's take, say, two actors. One is Raju and the other one is Shyam. Raju had a perfect coding score, but struggled to explain how their work helped the business make money. And Shyam had a slightly lower technical score, but could clearly explain how he built the feature which eventually helped the company to reduce the customer churn. What is customer churn? It means that customer, like, say, leaving the company. That's called customer churn, right? So now Raju was, like, too good in technical thing, like, so he was able to write the code, like, pretty well. And then, so whatever questions, like, technical question that was being asked, like, he was able to answer. Sham also did the same thing, but he was little less in the technical side, but he was having a pretty good understanding of how his work was connecting to the business, right? And what his work helped the company to achieve. Okay, so now you think about it. I mean, I really want to ask this question to all of you. So what do you think? Like, who would have actually cleared the round? Raju or Shyam? Any guess? In case if you have guessed, Shyam, it is right. Yes, absolutely. You're right. It is Shyam, right? And especially in this current era, right? It is always going to be someone like Shyam who knows that why am I doing this work? Who knows like, how to ask the intelligent questions, right? And who knows that how my work is eventually helping the company, and not somebody like who is just, doing what is being asked. Because now we have got AI to do what is being asked, right? So we need to understand this difference, right? And that is the way how we have to position ourselves. It's very important, everyone, that we have to position right now to make sure that we still stay relevant. So what's our lesson? So in the new age, your technical output is commodity, but your ability to translate that output into business value is a rare premium skill. Trust me, this is right. And we have to make sure we all, right? I'm just not telling that, that so whoever is listening. So we all have to make sure that we need to develop this skill right now. That how exactly we can translate like some core technical skills into the business value, right? So we have to think about how do we derive ROI or return on investment. Okay. So with this, now I'll take you to another whole new perspective about culture, right? Because so we just like now talked about that, how your soft skills, like how your core soft skills like empathy, contextual navigations, right? So how this will eventually help you. But now let's get into the game, right? That so when you start, like say your say corporate journey, the first thing what you'll hit is the culture, right? And so cultural fitment is one of the first evaluation what any company will do. So let's just like how this culture thing, like it differs in between a startup and a MNC, right? So right now, like as you know, like the startup culture or the startup ecosystem is growing much faster in India also, like it's growing much faster, right? But it's important, right, that when we are applying or probably like that when we are targeting to work for either a startup or for a Fortune 500 MNC, we have to think about like what are the expectations from this to genre, right? So why I'm saying this to genre, because the expectations are going to be totally different, right? I mean, the mindset, what they expect, like from the people who are working into this two domain are also different. Okay. So as you see here, like the startup culture is more about like, speed-led rapport, right? It means that so quick decisions, direct communication, tolerance for ambiguity, and rapid interactions. So rapid iterations define the interactions, right? So what does that mean? It means that speed is everything, right? And it is actually feasible in startup because in startup we don't have a lot of hierarchies, right? I mean, I hope you understand, right? That like in a big MNCs that so there is a pretty long hierarchy, right? That I mean, so we have got like some boss, some boss's boss, some boss's boss, right? And then if you have to really get something out, right, then there is a long chain of approvals, right? That's why speed always becomes a problem in the MNCs, right? But that's exactly the reverse in startup. Okay, that so we have to take quick decisions, right? So for this, so what do we need? So we need to build skills, obviously, right? But on top of this, we also need to find out that how do we have the trust factor? So because quick decisions and the direct communication. So what does that mean? That it means that if you just join this company, a startup company, let's take example of say Zomato, right? That we all know Zomato from India, right? So now Zomato is still a startup, right? So if you join the company, there are very high chances that you will directly work with the CIO. There's a possibility, right? So even you being a 2 years experience, 3 year experience, you can directly talk to the CIO, right? That's possible. And that's exactly what is called direct communication, right? But so when we come to MNCs, right, that's not something that we can even imagine. You don't even get to see the CIO, right? Yeah, forget about seeing, right? But there'll be no communication with the CIO, right? That's not really possible, right? Because MNCs is more of the process-led diplomacy, right? That so more of like like how do you make sure that like so we get the right approvals, like if there is a problem, like things would be documented. The document should be going for approvals, right? We have to make sure that all the stakeholders what you have, right? So they are all being aligned, before you take a decisions, right? So these all things you would not be seeing in a startup, right? So these are going to be the cultural mindsets. So what we have to build. So we should know first of all, right? That is, if I'm joining a startup, what will be the expectation from the company versus if I'm joining an MNC, what is going to be the expectations, right? So with this knowledge, you know like what you are signing for, right? And then on top of that, you also know that what I need to be ready with, right? So this is like so very like important to understand this cultural differences, right? And so when I say the MNC is like it's more of a multinational corporations, right? So you know, I mean, so there are like so many companies that falls under the MNCs, right? So the success requires recognition which context you are in and adapting your communication, decision making, and influence tactics accordingly. So this is something what will define your success across either in startup or in MNC. Okay. So with this right now, so now you got some understanding about how the culture really works across like say various companies, right? Or rather, I would say various industries or domains, right? Now I'm going to introduce you to one of the very talked topic in corporate that is called the office politics, right? So this is something I think, so this is, you surely would have heard it, you surely would have faced it, you surely would have lived it, right? I'm 100% sure that there won't be any single person who would have really, completely got escaped from the office politics, right? And you need to really learn, right? Like how exactly to play this game, right? Like it's all a game after all, right? That we have to understand like who are the key players of the game and how to play this game. That's exactly like what I'm gonna probably share some thoughts from my side, right? So what I personally have experienced, like at my level, it is even worse, right? So, I mean, I would say every day starts with politics, ends with politics, right? But let me define first, right? So I think we need to have a right definition of this word politics, right? So when we say politics, we always think about dirty politics, right? But it is not. It is not always dirty politics. That we have to redefine the definition of politics, what we say, right? So if we redefine this, if we know what is the right definition of politics, then we know how to really, be a part of this. Okay, so I mean, I call this as an invisible map, that like say if you have a map in your life, right, then life would have been very easy, right? That we know that so what we're gonna do tomorrow, like uh like how exactly my life looks like in the next year, right? So that's exactly a map, right? But yeah, unfortunately, in the real life, we don't really get a map, right? And in a similar way, like in office politics also, we do have a map, obviously, but it is an invisible map, right? Like it's like the image which I've shared here, like it's a chess, right? So in chess, we definitely, the people who are coming from a different world, so they might see chess is so complicated, right? But think about the players who are actually playing it. They really know the in and outs of chess, right? So they really know all the moves. They really know the maps, the patterns, right? In the similar way. So let's define that what really a politics is, right? Or office politics is. Office politics isn't a gamesmanship. It is an informal network of influence, alliances, and power that determines how work actually gets done. Please take a note of this, right? Office politics isn't a gamesmanship. What is a gamesmanship? It means that when you are playing a game, right, you do a lot of stuff, right? I'm not going to use the word politics, but a lot of stuff, strategies to make sure that you win the game. The objective is always that how do you win the game, right? That's called the gamesmanship, right? And so while you do that, you really re-strategize, you really, change your team members, you bring somebody else, right? You make sure that, I'm not going to announce this move of the team member like early, but I'm going to wait till the start of the match, right? These are all the strategies that is being played by the management, by the captain, right? I'm taking the example of cricket, by the way. So this is called the gamesmanship, right? So now just think about it. Like what exactly is office politics? It is the informal network of influence. Take a note of the keywords, right? The informal network of the influence, alliances, and power that determines how work gets done. These are the main components of the politics. So if you understand, if you or me, like if you understand who are the players, we can actually build a game plan, right? So we know like, so where exactly the influence lies. Who are the decision makers? Who are the actual influencers behind that decision? I'm gonna simply go and try to build relation with that person first. Okay, that is exactly what the office politics says. It is not, dirty, or it is not something, many people I have heard that they call it like, so are you saying that office politics means that you always have to be manipulative? I would say no. You don't have to be manipulative, or you don't have to be, a cheat, or somebody like who does wrong thing, right? No, that's not the definition of office politics. And that's the reason I'm trying to define this, that let's redefine the definition of the office politics. If you redefine this, and if it goes inside your head, right, then you know how to play this game. Okay, it's all about positioning in this game. How do you position yourself, right? And you can only position yourself in the right way if you know who are the key stakeholders, who are the main components of this entire game, right? So then I know whom I have to really keep as my right hand, my left hand. Okay, there is a word that I've written, that build relationship before you need flavors, right? So build relationship before you need favors. So what does that mean? It means that before you ask for help, you make sure that you already have done a favor to that person. It means that he cannot say no to you right now. Okay, so that is called strategy, right? And this is definitely not something which is called manipulation. I'm not really manipulating anything. I'm just trying to make sure that I create my own gamesmanship, because my objective is clear. I need to get my work done. Okay. And if you think about a scenario which is going to be win-win for both the party, right? That's all what you need. So now I'm going to share you a few of my strategy, what I really follow a lot in my career, right? So even now also. So yeah, this is like personal, but I'm still sharing with this audience group right now. So one thing that I don't have those writing here in this slide, but I'm going to share with you. So one thing is like observe before acting. Okay, so it means that you need to understand like how the org chart plays around, right? In any company, I'm not talking just about IT or technology. In any company, even in school or in colleges, right? So you have to understand like how the org chart uh, plays around. Okay, that if you know this thing, then you know that how exactly the power politics is there, or how exactly the power dynamics is being placed. So you know like who is placed at what place. Okay. Second strategy, which I really follow a lot, is the no surprise rule, right? This is something which is probably, this is like something which you might not be using a lot in your initial part of the career, but you will be using a lot in your mid and your, like your senior part of your career, which is called the no surprise rule. It means that never let your boss be surprised by a bad news in a meeting, right? In a meeting. So don't wait for a meeting that, I'll wait for this meeting and then eventually I'm going to share some bad news, right? It's going to be a disaster. Make sure that you do your homework. You talk to the people like who, like are your stakeholders, and you make them aware before you make news officially available across everyone, right? At least like so with your stakeholders, and at least with your immediate boss, what we call them as the line managers across like some multiple industries. I think the same term is being used. Okay. And I think so one more strategy which I just told earlier, so which is called the reciprocity, right? It means that before you ask for a help from someone, before you ask for a favor from someone, you should help them first, right? This plays along really well. You might really think about, like, so if I'm helping in future, so what about if I never require a help from them, right? Don't really think about that. Help people. You would never be knowing that how that help will get back to you, and you'll never be knowing that how that help will get back to you as a yes to your, say, question, to your demand. Okay, so now I'm gonna share with you one very interesting theory. So this is actually, so 1 second, so we'll be helping you to manage this office politics in a much better way, right? And that theory is actually called the empty chair theory. So you can actually read about it, right? So this is actually a pretty old theory, but it is being used across multiple industries and in various ways, right? So which means that influence without authority. Then how you can actually use your influence or create influence when you are not having any authority. So what is authority? Authority means that that you do not have a strong say. Like for example, me, I have a strong authority in any decisions, right? If I say yes, that's the final answer. Nobody will actually cross question me. That's called authority, right? But at the same time, the people who are just starting their career, right, they shall not be having authority, right? But still, how do you create influence? So you don't have to wait till like say 10 years to build authority, right? No, that's not really required. So you can actually use your influence even without authority as well. That's something which I'm going to teach you, and that's something which you would need it in your daily job career or in your daily professional career. Trust me, I mean, I'm going to give you some examples as well, and maybe you can relate that example with your current life, and you can think about like, hey, this is really matching. Okay, first thing, frame in their language. So let's understand few key part of this, right? Like how exactly you can influence when you're not in authority. So one is like frame in the language. It means that you have to translate your idea into the terms that matter to them. So it means that you have to understand your audience, whom you're talking to. So if I talk to salespeople, if I'm talk to marketing people, if I'm talk to my product team, if I'm talk to my engineering team, I cannot use a same language. I have to change language, right? To make sure that they really understand what I'm, like talking about, isn't it? So like if they don't understand, they'll not be paying you attention. They'll not be, like really interested, or they'll not be showing interest in hearing what you have to say. That's a very important thing. Frame in their language. Okay. The second is the find the win-win. This is always very important. Always think about, like how exactly my win is also going to bring a win into the other party. So position your request as a mutual benefit, not extraction. Show how their support advances their goals too. You're asking for a favor, right? But they'll always be having this question that what is for me? Like he's asking for a favor, but like, so what? So what do I have to gain from there, right? So you always have to think about in that particular way also. That how exactly my question or my win is going to help them also to win. Second is, or the third one is a build social proof. Identify others who support your idea. A coalition of voices carries more weight than solo advocacy. This is a very, very important thing, guys, right? So in office politics, if you have to really win, you need to make sure that you have a good support. You have a good support. It doesn't really matter that you have support from your management or from your peers, but you would need to have a good support, right? And how do you do that? To make sure like people are, like say if somebody's helping you, right? Make sure that you are socially or publicly appreciating them. Everybody loves appreciation, by the way. Everybody, even our supreme leader of the country, Narendra Modi ji, right? He also loves appreciation. Isn't it? So that's very important. And so make it easy to say yes, the last one, right? So it means that reduce friction with clear next steps, preempt objections, and provide options that minimize their risk. It means that you do whatever it is necessary for them to eventually say yes to by providing the right steps. That if you're asking for some answers, right? Or if you're asking for like some favor, you are being very clear that what is that you're expecting, right? The clarity what you're going to create, right? That will actually help them to eventually say a yes or a no also, right? Because yeah, let's be very honest. You cannot always say like get a yes from everybody, right? There's always rejections, right? Or no, but that's okay. That's a part of life. That's a part like how we work, right? But yes, it is very important that you make it very clear so that the chance of like hearing yes is much more. Now I'm gonna share with you one very practical case study, and this is not something like random. This is a very practical one from my personal experience. Okay, so let's see like how this thing that you learned, right? That's the influence in action, or like say like how exactly this influence even without authority can actually help somebody to excel. Okay, so let's go by this profile. Then let's see like what so what our guy is doing. Our main protagonist, his name is Arjun. So he is a junior research analyst who recently have joined a firm, and he only have completed 6 months in that firm. Okay, and so what is the setting? The setting is like he's into a mid-sized tech firm preparing for a major product launch. the company is trying to do a major product launch. Now, what is the problem? The problem is the launch readiness dashboard requires data from three different department head. One is the marketing, sales, and the product. And none of them report to Arjun. In fact, they barely know his name. Absolutely. He recently have joined the company, right? And very less people would eventually know him, right? But his work was that he have to prepare a launch readiness dashboard. It's a very crucial document. So whenever we do a product launch, right? So irrespective of whatever industries that I'm talking about, like it could be automotive, it could be software, whatever, right? So we prepare something called product readiness doc, right? And that dashboard is something that is being shared to the senior management, to your president, to your CEO, and they eventually take a decision that are we still on track and can we still make the launch, right? So this is that critical document, and that work has been given to this guy, Arjun, who just have joined the company 6 months back. Okay. And his problem is that none of these people from marketing, sales, and product know them. So how he will ensure that he can get all the data from all the teams and he can prepare the dashboard and can share it with the leadership, right? So that's the conflict. So Arjun's manager told him that the dashboard must be live by Friday, right? Or the president won't have the data for the board meeting. Arjun sends 3 polite emails. The marketing team, they ignored him. The sales team, they say they are too busy with their targets. And the product team, they told that the data is not yet ready. Now, what Arjun will do? Arjun is in a very bad state, right? So Arjun is not having any authority to demand the data, to like to play a boss. But if he fails, the dashboard is not ready, then he would look as an incompetent, right? And if he tallies his boss, he risks looking like he cannot handle a basic task. Right? The task has been given to him. So like he's in a, like a lot of dilemma that like, what will I do? I'm not able to get the data from the team. If I go to my boss, the boss might think that, like he's always coming back to me for every simple thing, right? And if he's not able to do it, he will be flagged as incompetent because he just has spent 6 months in the company. He might get fired. Who knows? This is a very tough situation for Arjun, right? And I'm sure that you also would have gone through this kind of cases at some part of your life, in your professional life. I'm sure. I don't know like how many of you will agree with me, but I'm sure you would have gone through this, right? That you don't have the authority, and at that time, so you might be thinking that, come on, I should have some power, some authority to take some strict calls. But you don't really need authority. Just see like let's see what exactly Arjun did. Okay, the final answer is like, so Arjun was able to create the dashboard with some amazing strategy. Okay, so let's see like how he dealt with all this department or the respective departments. Sales department, what they told I'm too busy, right? So what Arjun did, he tried to create the value proposition. So there's a term which is called WIIFM, so which is called what's in it for you, right? So it says that like what, so like if you do this, what exactly you are getting back. So he positioned the data as a way to show their success to CEO. That's the way actually how he pitched to the sales team, that if you give it to me, that you can tell about that this data, like it's been produced by me, and then that you can actually highlight your success to the CEO. That's the way how he pitched the sales team. Product team was actually, the problem was that they told, I don't have that data ready, right? That if you want the data, we have to like spend the additional effort. So they were doing the gatekeeping. So what he tried empathy. You cannot always be very smart and tactical. You have to sometimes say, can you please do that? I really need this, with this tone. That's called empathy, right? That you know whom to go and talk to. Who is the decision maker? Like say, if I can go and can tell the problem, it can be done, right? Ask for the format that is required, the least effort for them, right? So he tried with the empathy, and he also went with a solution in mind. He told them that hey, that like in case if it takes more time, can you give me some data which will not take that much amount of time? He tried this option, right? Last, the marketing simply ignored him, right? So what he tried to do, he used the technique called social proofing, right? We just talked about it earlier, right? He used the FOMO technique, the fear of missing out technique. He showed that every other department had already contributed. So why you're not doing it? Boom, it worked. It worked. He got the data, he was able to create the dashboard, and he was able to deliver his dashboard on time without even asking for any help from his managers. He did that on his own, right? And by help, it is not about like, like helping to know the names of people. Like that's not the help. That the help means that, can you help me to do my work? That is something which is being like, seen in a negative way. So if you have a question that, so I mean, I'm trying to do this thing, but I don't know whom I have to reach out to. That's not being seen as a negative way. Okay. So I hope it makes sense, right? I mean, like, so this is actually something which is very live. I mean, so this is like very live from my personal experience. I have seen this in action, and I was really very impressed on this guy. The guy's name is definitely, arbitrary. I created this name, but there was a real guy in my organization, and I was really very impressed with this guy. All right. Now we'll move to the next part of it, that is the RAPO part, right? So what is a RAPO? What is the core definition of a RAPO? The RAPO means that what people thinks about you, how people takes you. That's called RAPO, right? I've got a good RAPO with somebody, right? It means that that person has a whole different perspective about me. It means that I can get stuff done from him very easily because he has a good perspective about me, right? That's called a RAPO. And RAPO building is something which we can learn and which we can do it, right? And in the very beginning, I told that in the AI age, the way how we build the RAPO is a little bit different. Okay. I would not say it's drastically different, but it's a little bit different, right? That we have to try out some new techniques. The first technique, or I mean, I rather call it as a toolkit for you, right? I'm defining you some techniques, some toolkits, which you can simply copy paste, right? You can simply copy paste in your own career, in your own professional life, and you see like how wonder it brings out. Okay, so let's talk about the first one, that is the new age digital presence, right? So right now, as you know, that our work pattern have changed a lot, right? That we do a lot of hybrid work. I mean, the older way of working, that is like say, going to the office, physically working in your desk, that has changed a lot, right? So we are basically just like, like in hybrid mode. So the first thing, like, digital presence, that we have to make sure that we bring a lot of digital etiquettes. Okay. The first thing is going to be the camera on connection. It means that when you're talking to somebody, especially like, so like if it is a business call, you have to turn on your camera because videos usually builds the trust faster than audio. Okay, it basically convinces your presence, your attention, and the engagement, right? So that's quite important, right? So because like, so now also when we are talking, just think about it, like say, if I'm not on my camera, you're only hearing my audio, you don't even know like how exactly, like, like, so how do I look, if it is a real human or not, first of all, right? How, like I'm reacting, how exactly I'm engaging with you guys, right? So this eventually creates a image in your mind that yes, I can trust this person on the other side of the camera. Second is the professional environment. Okay, this is very important, guys. I mean, like we might think about that this is not very important, but this is very important, right? That the background, it matters a lot, right? A clean, a neutral spaces, that signal you, so your professionalism. Lighting should be good. That like say if you are on like say if you are on the video call, your face is quite easily visible. These all things are very basic. You might think about that these are implicit, right? But this is something what the business really observes, right? But nowadays, I think so, that we have tools in case if like if you're on Zoom or on Teams. So so we have ways to blur the background, right? So we don't actually have to show like what is there, say behind me or surrounding me. And the other one is active presence, right? It means that you are, like so basically responding to the questions, showing that you are active, right? And not just like say seeing in the screen and there's no action. So these are something like which we might think that this is actually a very basic thing, but it plays a very important role. There is one example I can just share with you, that some company lost a deal because of this, right? So they were doing some critical negotiations, and so there were like say two clients in the same call, that they were doing some like say some code negotiations, so about the deals. And so what happened that the first vendor, I mean, like their team, they were just like enabling their camera when they had to respond. And the other team, they were like always on camera, right? And trust me, the other team or the other vendor actually got the deal, right? And the reason is very simple, right? So the reason is this, like when a client, right? So they're talking to two vendors, right? And if they see like one vendor is always interactive and they are opening their camera and, so they are talking to them in a very interactive way, right? I will treat them as a partner. Okay. But the other person who is just, like coming, they're sharing some knowledge, like some information, some facts, I'll treat them as anonymous vendors, just anonymous vendor. I'll not be able to like think about like, can I have a long-term partnership with this? Okay. So in the hybrid world, the presence is definitely a choice. It is optional, but make sure that if people can't see your face or hear your enthusiasm, they cannot build a mental map of who you are. Now, rapport is almost 50% of digital etiquette. So if you're not bringing this, you're not able to build the rapport because you're working in a whole digital environment, right? Next thing is going to be the active listening and the 70-30 rule. So this is a very like important rule that we should follow. So active listening. So you might think about that, like how come active listening is actually going to help me increase my rapport, right? And this rule says that 70% of listening and 30% of talking. Okay. So this is going to be very important because the 70% of the time that you are spending listening, right? So you are not just passively listening, you are actively listening. Okay. So you are trying to understand that what the other party is trying to bring on the table. You are really trying to understand what they're trying to bring on the table. Okay. And the 30% of the talking time, right? That use this 30% to ask or clarify question, synthesize what you have heard, and offer value-added insights. That is how you will tell that, that yes, I understood what you told, and I'm going to add more value to the overall conversation. The more value you can build, the more rapport you're going to create across your peers, across your management. Okay, this is a great line. Great listeners gather data, build trust, and position themselves to offer relevant solution, not generic advice. Read this line once again, okay, if you want. That nobody really likes a generic advice, right? That like if somebody is trying to give a generic advice, I don't really need that person. I really want somebody who knows what is my requirement, what is my problem, and provide me solutions based on my problem. That's how I or that person will have a great rapport on me. Think about it, right? Good. Next, conflicts, right? So this is something which that you face almost every day, I believe, every day, or probably like say thrice or four times in a week, right? That conflict between your peers, your managers, even conflicts we face it in our personal life, in our home as well, right? So how do we use this conflict as a catalyst to improve our rapport? Interesting part, right? And how come conflict will help us to build a better rapport? Let's see. So first of all, so what you have to do in a conflicting situation, how you can actually convert your conflict into a rapport building exercise. First thing is like for any conflict, we should acknowledge the friction, the conflict. Don't avoid the tension. Name it respectfully, saying this thing that I sense we are approaching this differently. Let's understand why. Conflict is all about the perspective, right? So if me and somebody else is having a conflict, that means what? We are both looking into the same problem in a different way, right? It doesn't mean that I'm wrong or the other person is wrong, or vice versa, I'm right or the other person is right. It is all about the perspective, isn't it? So we have to acknowledge this first, that hey, like something is not really going as expected. I think we are trying so we are approaching the problem in a different way. Let's understand why. Let's sit together and understand why. That brings the next one, that explore the underlying interest. It means try to understand like what was his interest, why exactly he's thinking like that way. Okay, so move beyond the positions to discover what each party truly needs. Common ground often emerges when you understand the why, right? That why they are doing it. If you know the why, right, there is a very high possibility that the conflicts will eventually lead to the resolution or getting managed. Okay, and then the final one is the co-create solution that we know the why part, bring both the party into the same table and co-create solution. That is exactly what I do as a leader. I face conflict, I can tell you daily, right? Daily across my team members, right? And so this is actually a very critical thing, like, so what we have to fix as early as possible. The longer I will, let a conflict live, the longer I'm going to lose productivity. Okay. So I hope you got some fair idea about, like how do we, like build our rapport, and I've shared you a few of the toolkits, what you can use. Do go through this, like in case if you can directly say apply it to your life or to your professional job career, do that. I'm sure that you'll be able to find out some differences. So with this, I'm going to share with you one bonus content. So this is like something which I actually have heard from many people, and so that talks about primarily from the people who come from the academic background. So it talks about the transition. And how do I transition from an academic to a corporate, right? There are many people who have done that, right? I mean, so in my personal connections, I mean, I know many people, like who have done this thing and who have done this pretty well. And few of them I was able to help, right? So with those, the knowledge that I've built, I mean, I just thought to share a few of the data with you, right? That in case if you are also interested to do this shift or this migration, how would you do it, right? Or what it requires, right? You don't have to change as a human being, right? The same human being who was working as a professor in a college, they can quite easily work as, a manager in a IT firm as well, right? So because that same person was doing that rigorous work in the college, that person is equally talented, right? So they can quite easily take care of the job even in the IT side, right? Or in the corporate side. But it requires some key shift in the mindset, right? Let's cover this thing out. So in the academic mindset is what? It is more of depth over speed, right? That like success is 100% accuracy and deep research, right? Like more about like how deep I can go, how deep I can actually get the data, and then so I mean how deep I can do the research. But in the corporate world, it is speed over perfection. Success is good enough to decide and ready to ship. It means that we do not have time to do a very heavy R&D because we have milestones, we have targets. Okay. Second, the work speaks. So in the academic, the peers can validate your work. That if you're working on a thesis, or if you're working on some formula, some algorithm, right? So your peer group is pretty small, and they can like quite easily acknowledge your work. They can quite easily bring your work to the upper management, right? Say to the HOD or to the principal, right? But in the corporate, you speak for your work. Stakeholders would be validating your work based on your pitch. Understand this, in corporate, your manager also would not be doing what you are doing if you are not highlighting your work. It is very important, guys. Okay, that you have to speak for your own work, right? That you're doing your work, you have to market your work. If you're not marketing your work, there are many people, there are many peer groups who are in competition. Third point, the individual merit. So based on your specific thesis or grade, your merit will be decided, right? But in corporate, it is a collective impact based on how well you enable the team to win. Okay, so this is very important, that your team skills plays a very important role in the corporate. I think in the very beginning of the session, Sasish sir have shared a pretty nice video from the movie. It basically highlights the importance of the teamwork, right? So in the corporate, that teamwork is not just a luxury. It is something that is your performance review measurements. Last, the technical language is the precision and the jargons are expected. It means that in the academic world, you are pretty much open to use the technical code jargons, right? But in the corporate world, it depends on your stakeholder and you have to change that jargon. So you have to make sure that you are basically theming or you're framing your response based on your audience. We talked about this earlier, right? That framing your responses. So this is going to be the core mindset differences, right? Because like, so whoever, like in my network, like, so whoever have done this transition, initially they really have faced a lot of challenges, and it is primarily because of this mindset. So they were not able to accept this kind of mindset changes. Okay, so now let's go to the next one. So now, yeah, this is a great saying, like in academia, you are taught to find the right answers. In the corporate world, as a director, I'm looking for the right action. So it means that you get your answer, but the answer is not sufficient. That if you are just providing data, it's not sufficient. You have to tell us that how this data will eventually produce some results, how it will help us to take decisions, how it will help me to take my next action. That is what I'll be expecting. In the academics, there, that so we built a formula, we just delivered it. That's all gone. Right. But in the corporate, we have to see, like, so you build a formula, how this formula will help us build a business. I'm going to solve a real world customer problem. How do I tackle a use case, an actual business use case? This is something which we don't do it in academics. Okay, so the next thing we're going to talk about that. So with this knowledge, right, I'm going to give you some action plans that what you can try probably sometime in the future, right? The first action is that you have to start building a brand, that you cannot just work as an individual right now, that you need to have a presence. So, the way actually how I see here, that everybody should have their own personal brands that use LinkedIn or any of your internet network to showcase your leadership, share insights, right? That how exactly you solve some problem, how exactly you like help your company solving this, if it is possible. If it is possible, that means if you're allowed to do this. So many of the work, so you have to sign an NDA that you'll not be able to share it, but eventually you have to find out a way that how do I create a personal brand? How do I make sure that people really knows me? Not only just my manager and my peers and my home people. Okay. Second thing is, like, I'm going to give you a challenge, right? A task for you. I mean, so this is 24-hour task. I mean, and you can take it like, like a few more days. But I really challenge you that you identify one new network or one new connection, say in this time, and schedule a coffee chat. Ask about their work and build the bridges proactively. Build a new connection, not with your friend, not with your peer, right? So whom you know that, hey, that hey, let's go for a beer, not like that. Okay, but rather you try to like think about that. So who all are there in my professional network, like who are doing the similar kind of work that I'm doing, right? And I want to build a connection with them, and not just a hello connection in the LinkedIn, right? So you can actually make use of the connection. Try this. It is not easy, by the way, right? You might think about it, it's very easy. It is not easy. It is a very complicated game to build your network or a meaningful network. Okay, and the last thing which I would challenge you, or rather, I would ask you, is translating your technical to business. That means your technical context to the business value. That practice explaining your work in terms of impact. That is revenue, cost, risk, or competitive advantages. Don't just talk about that I'm just building an Excel file and this Excel file will like help me to create some dashboard and which will be used by some leaders. Don't talk about that way. That's very high level, right? Get this. So get this knowledge that I'm just doing this thing, how it is eventually being used by my business, right? To take what decision. So is it going to help the company to save cost? Is it going to help the company to like say make new connections for their clients or with their customers? You get the end-to-end picture. Try to do this. It might not be very possible in your current industry, but try to do this. Try to see like who are the right people who will help me up to get this end-to-end picture, by which you can define the business value what you're adding. Okay. So with this, so let's recap like what are the key takeaways that we got from the session. So we're wrapping it up. So we talked about like how AI will be amplifying the value of human skills. That is your empathy, strategy, and the contextual navigation. We also talked about the office politics and like how exactly we can align so ourselves with with office politics, and how the office politics is not just a gamesmanship, right? And we have to learn to read the invisible map. So we talked about that. We also talked about the Rapo. We talked about like few of the toolkits of Rapo. So we talked about the digital presence, we talked about the active listening, we talked about the 70-30 rules. We also talked about the conflict resolutions, right? That how the conflicts can actually help us to build the rapport and to create much more collaborative solutions. And at the very end, we also talked about that what are the key mindset changes that we would need to transition from academic to a corporate. Okay, so with this, I'm gonna wrap up my presentation, and that's all I had to share. Thank you very much for your time and the engagement. So, in case if you have any questions, that you can reach out to Ashish sir also, or like if you have any questions right away. I mean, I can take few questions right now. So with this, I'll be giving it over to you, Ashish sir. I'm good from my side. Thank you all. Thank you very much once again.
I am inviting some of them to and ask for questions or to express their views on this. I
Absolutely.
would
Sure.
like to you please off your presentation. Yes, thank you. The wonderful presentation by Pritam Banerjee. Uh, Basically, it is a learning to me also. The application of behavioral psychology, the behavioral management is everywhere in his speech, from the start to the finish line. So, three important things: empathy, rapport building, and the mind mastery. Every time, if we use this in a proper manner, and as a psychologist, I feel very, very glad that the concept of psychology, Pritam Banerjee introduced in his presentation, and naturally, it will work one wonder. So, my dear friends, I would like to invite three people from three parts of the country. Number one, no introduction, no photo viewing. Do not come to the camera. Just on your mic. Ovika Mondal. Hello. Ovika Mondal. Please on your mic, Ovika. Hello. Ovika Mondal. Hello. Hello. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Hello,
Am I
Ovika.
audible,
Yes.
sir? Hello.
Yes. How you enjoy the session, Ovika? It was my recommendation to you to join this program. And what you feel in your first class, you are mostly welcome. You are on the camera. I appreciate your presence. And please tell me and express your view, what you learned here through the speech of particularly our guest speaker, Pritam Banerjee sir. Please.
Sir, first of all, thank you so much, Pritam sir, for this
1 minute, 1 minute.
inspiring.
Prito, Ovika Mondal is a research analyst and IITian, and he is in Noida. And I do not mention where he is working. He is working in one of the big company in India, and he is a very dynamic personality. And you hear from him. Please.
Hi, sir, Pritam sir. Hi, hello, Ashish sir. So basically, currently I'm working in the aviation airlines. So I'm currently working as a user experience researcher in Air India. So, a little bit about my background is that I did my architecture, bachelor's of architecture from NIT Patna, and then I moved on to designing. So I completed my master's in industrial design from IIT Delhi. So I graduated in the year 2024, then got placed in Air India. Currently, I'm working like it's been 1.5 years. I'm working with this company. So it's a big company for me. It was a big transition. So Pritam sir's particularly this session actually helped me to understand and analyze my situation here in this company. A few things that you highlighted in your presentation was that the navigation from the academic to the corporate world, it was a bit tough for me. and still it is a tough space for me to, like, I'm still learning a lot. I'm navigating every day, trying to navigate also at certain point. But your presentation today actually helped me to understand that there are like in my mind there are so many negative space that was building upon about this corporate world, but you helped me to understand that these are not the negative space actually. These are actually the spaces where I need to work upon, understand them intricately, and trying to implement my ways into this world. So obviously it's a new way for me to cater into this world. I am learning and I learned a lot from this session. I took a whole lot of notes from your session actually. Will be like tomorrow is Monday, we'll start accordingly to implement these ideas right from here tomorrow only. So yeah.
Good, very good, Bhavika. This I want from our guest, from our audience. And another candidate from Uttarakhand. From Uttarakhand, Monica Nath. She's a professor, young professor at some college at Chamoli district in Uttarakhand. And I invited her to join this session today. Monica Nath, please come on the stage. Monica Nath. Hello. Monica Nath, madam, please come on the stage. Hello. 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 No problem. I would like to invite Mausumi Nondi, madam. She is also an assistant professor in some college in West Bengal. I would like to hear from him and hear from her. Please, Monica Devi, please come. Sorry. Mausumi Nondi, please. Hello, madam. Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Uh,
Hello.
who? Hello. Hello. Yes, Monica Nath, please, on your mic. Who's speaking? Hello. Moshomi Nondi, madam, are you here? Are you present?
I think Ashish sir, we can probably unmute from our side. I think she might be facing some challenge in unmuting.
Already it is mute, unmute. Ask all to unmute. Ask all to unmute. Sutirtho Rai, sorry, Sutirtho Chattopadhyay. Sutirtho Chattopadhyay, please. Sutirtho Chattopadhyay. Hello. Hello, Sutirtho. Hello. 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 Okay, no problem. So this is the game today, and I hope you enjoyed. We are going to start our soft skill session from next Saturday, a course that will be designed for 3 months, and already I have described you all the details. If anybody interested to join the session, please contact me. I am sharing the entire course detail along with the free gift of the modern AI. At the age of AI, what kinds of profession you can choose, that I will share on the group. You may get it. And I welcome you in our course. And till then, I again thanks to PRITAM BANERJEE. Until then, goodbye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.